EAA Air Museum in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, contains the world's largest private collection of aircraft. It's also the EAA Aviation Center, which contains conference facilities, educational facilities. It's the headquarters of our international EAA. We have over 120,000 members around the world. It's also the headquarters of the EAA Aviation Foundation, which has a number of outreach programs aimed at young and old alike. The wall behind me has a brick on it for each person who has contributed at least $500 to the construction of this facility. The facility cost in total over $7 million, and each one of these bricks represents $500 from an average American who loves aviation. Many of these reflect businesses or EAA chapters around the world. The museum itself is about 135,000 square feet, and it contains aircraft from every era of aviation, from the golden age of aviation, air racing, the warbirds, and many home-built aircraft. Home-builts were the beginning of EAA. In America, we have the unusual ability to build our own aircraft in basements and backyards and garages. And some of the finest examples of home-built aircraft are displayed here at the EAA Aviation Center. Many EAA members decide to join one of EAA's 3 special divisions, such as the Warbirds of America. The Warbirds focus on the great aircraft of the 1930s and 1940s, and many of those aircraft are displayed here at the museum. The Oscar in EAA's Air Museum is one of the many aircraft that we loan and trade between ourselves and the National Air and Space Museum. This Oscar actually belongs to the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C., and it's on loan to us here. The ME-108 is normally on display within the EAA Air Museum. However, during the EAA convention, we have it on display out here in the leeward courtyard behind the museum. This 108 is owned by the actor Cliff Robertson. Cliff is a longtime EAA member, and at this year's convention, we will be honoring him for all of his contributions to aviation. In fact, he assisted us in raising much of the money to build this facility. The 108 was a completely aerobatic trainer which was used by the Germans during World War II extensively. Although 6,000 of them were built, very few of them are in existence today. The golden age of air racing is nothing but a memory now, but those memories are lovingly preserved here at the EAA Aviation Center. The beautiful red and silver airplane behind me is Bonzo. It was built in 1934 by one of air racing's greatest pilots, Steve Whitman. Not only was he one of air racing's greatest pilots, winning virtually every race between the 1920s and 1940s, he was a terrific designer and builder. The airplane was entirely built by Steve in 1934. The spring steel landing gear you see on this airplane is virtually identical to the same sort of landing gear used on Cessna aircraft today. The tires may be a little smaller. They were used for racing essentially, but the gear is about the same. This airplane we're very proud of because it was the very first airplane in our collection. Another one of Steve Whitman's creations is in the National Air and Space Museum, but this one was restored right here in Oshkosh by an EAA chapter, and we're very proud to have it. This is what's called coming behind the scenes. All of the airplanes on display in the museum, most of them anyway, were restored right here in this room. All of the displays you've seen in the museum were built in this room. This is the Cessna Aeronautical Restoration Center. Since the EAA Aviation Foundation is a non-profit organization, we are able to take advantage of private donations and donations from corporate entities such as Cessna, and that's why we named this facility after them. For instance, all the tools you see around you are provided by the Snap-on Tool Company. The young people working behind me are part of the EAA Air Foundation Air Academy. Each year, for 3 weeks, we bring young people here to learn the lore and the techniques of aviation. They learn aviation history, aerodynamics, and as you can see here today, how to restore or build an airplane. When you visit the EAA Air Museum, you can see the Cessna Aeronautical Research Center from the Stitz Overlook, which is a series of glass windows on the second floor of this facility. You can look down here and watch our skilled craftsmen building and restoring aircraft as well as refining some of our exhibits.